Essentially, three things that we can focus on that allow us to achieve such great success in our health. When we're trying to get healthy, we want to boost our energy, want to get our mental clarity back, want to get rid of that middle part of our body, right? All those stored calories there. And so many people ask me how we're so successful at helping business owners and entrepreneurs do this so quickly, so permanently, and so easily, and it's by pushing these three buttons. So we're gonna talk about that, and if you can get this right, it's easy, it's fast, and it can be permanent. Again, I'm gonna go through all three, and then I'm gonna tell you which ones to push, and how to push them, and in what order to push them, so you can see the success you want. So there's three buttons that need to be pushed, essentially, or that people try to push, I guess, when they're trying to get healthier or achieve some sort of health goal. The first button that most people try to push is the how much you eat button. This is the calories button. They do this through diets, they do this even through exercise, to where they burn more calories or try to consume less calories, right? So that's one button that people try to push and try to get their body to change, get their energy to change, get their whatever to change when it comes to their health by pushing that button. So that's the first one. The second button we'll talk about is the time button, the when button, when you eat. So a lot of people have heard of fasting and intermittent fasting, and some people say, well, you need to eat 6 meals a day or 7 meals a day just to make them small and high protein or whatever. Some people say, no, you need to eat 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day or whatever, right? So that's what we refer to as time. Is when you're eating, how often you're eating, what times a day are you eating. So that's another button that people tend to push. Now, the third button is what you eat. So this is more like focusing on kind of specific foods. Macros are gonna fall more like into your calorie, like how much. But what you eat is more like, are we doing vegetarian, paleo, vegan, carnivore, keto, which is what a lot of people focus on, like I gotta try some sort of diet specifically, and they push that button, right? So those are the three buttons, and a lot of times people will push one of them or they'll push two of them, and they're frustrated because they can't get the results that they want, or if they do get any results, they can't keep them, and it's not sustainable to do that. So I'm gonna share with you which buttons you need to push and how, like when you need to push them, in what order. I call this in my program, I call this the order of importance. Just like in math, that the old order of operations, right? I think that's what it's called. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I think that's it. You got to do parentheses, exponents, right? So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is the order of operations for math. Well, for health, we're trying to, improve our health. We're trying to shrink our body. We're trying to improve our energy. We're trying to build muscle. We're trying to do different things like that. We have to push these buttons in the right order, and oftentimes we have to push the right ones. So most people, again, are pushing the how much button, the calories button. And for me, the order of importance where I see amazing progress for people, and again, I'm working with high stress individuals, high performance individuals, where we see results that, number one, they can't ever see on their own or doing any other program. And in the time frame that we do it is incredible. And they can do it where they can still eat treats and snacks and travel and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's easy, it's fast, and it's sustainable. So the calories, how much button is actually last. I always tell people, don't worry about pushing that until you push the other two first. Now, the first one I tell people to push is the what you eat button. So this is focusing on the right foods. Right? Not how much and the calories or the macros, it's the right foods. And I'll give you just a quick example from my own life. For 8 years, I've kept 50 pounds off, and I have great energy, and my blood labs are all normal, and all the great fun stuff we all desire, right? And I didn't always have that, so it was a process of change for me. But I eat tons of food. I eat treats, I eat snacks, I do it multiple times a week. I tend to overeat, I tend to stress eat, and it's a continual process for me, and I coach people on these things. But I'm not perfect either. And the beautiful thing is, because I get my what button pushed and I focus so much on that, if I overeat and I don't exercise, and if I stress eat and I eat 7 cookies when I should probably only have 1 or 2, I never struggle. I never gain. I never lose energy. I never get brain fog because I focus on the what. If I can get the what button pushed correctly, then I'm fine. Right? So I don't have to ever count calories. I literally never count calories. I never exercise to maintain. I exercise because I like it and I believe it's healthy, but you don't need it for dropping in, you know, as far as inches or, you know, burning calories or anything like that. It's actually backwards. We don't really need that. It's actually sometimes harmful. So the first button though is what, right? So I don't adhere to a specific diet like keto, Mediterranean, paleo, vegan, carnivore, whatever. They all have good things. They all have some bad things. Everybody's slightly different. What I focus on is nourishing the body, giving the body the right tools to function the right way, and specifically from the metabolism perspective, the metabolic rate. So we focus on pro-metabolic foods. We focus on foods that are going to heal the body and change the body, and that's our what button. When we push that, we see energy improve. We see sleeping better, joints pain's gone, brain fog is gone. Of course, the belt size is, you know, you're cinching down your belt the whole time, and it happens very quickly for people. So that what button is key in that. So button number 2 that needs to be pushed is the when button. So you got to get your what right, but you got to get your when right. I traditionally eat 1 to 2 meals a day. A lot of people will tell you eat 6 or 7, but I'm not looking at it from calories. I'm not looking at it from like, you know, any of that kind of stuff. I'm looking at it from why does our body store fat? If we can address that, why does our body have low energy? Why does our body get brain fog? What's the root issue? If you can address that, you can get it to stop doing those things, and we see major change. So why I eat 1 to 2 times a day is because we you know, everybody hears of fasting, right? Well, that does really cool things for the body. We're not gonna go into it, just YouTube benefits of fasting. There's a million videos out there, a million articles on it. We've made some other ones, but time restricted eating is a lot of times what people do. If you're eating too often, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard on your blood sugars. So you really need to push the when button and get that right. But even if you don't get that right and you get the what button right, the when button doesn't matter as much, right? Now there's a hard, fast rule I always share with everyone. Don't eat 2 to 3 hours before bed. That is a surefire way to store a bunch of calories in your middle of the body, right? So don't do that. That's like a surefire way, but there's different methods, different processes for each individual, for certain schedules and things like that, and that's what we work with on people, is to get that number 2 dialed in correctly. Now the third button that I tell people to push is the calories button. Now I never ever count calories. I never have my clients that I work with count calories. I think calories is a really unhealthy way to look at food, because 1,000 calories of junk food is different than 1,000 calories of like vegetables or fruit, right? Very different outcome for the body. That's why what is so key. So you do need to look at how much you eat though, right? So a lot of times people push 1 or 2 of these, and oftentimes you can see some results if you push 1 of those buttons. You can start to see really good results if you're pushing 2, and if you can push all 3 at the same time, but do it the right way so that it's sustainable, so you're not having to stress about exercise, you're not having to stress about calories, you're not having to track everything, and you can still maintain your results and never count, never drink a shake, never go to the gym if you don't want, like all that crazy stuff people do, like doesn't need to happen, right? If you can push these buttons in the right order. And the beautiful thing is when you get this right, I call it liberating. It creates freedom in your life so that you never have to worry about yo-yo, you know, with your body, yo-yo dieting. You never have to worry about the results that you've achieved going away for the rest of your life, because you've optimized your health. You've pushed all the buttons in the right time, in the right order, and you dial it in. And for a business owner, for a high-performing professional, this is absolutely key. Like, it has to be done. Otherwise, like, it's not gonna work, because you have high stress. You're performing at a different level than most people. You have to have the focus higher than most people. You have to be able to have the energy that's higher than most people. So you've got to fuel the body. The inputs to the body have to be correct. They have to be optimal so that you can have optimal performance. And that's where you've got to push the buttons in the right order. So again, I always say push the what button first, the when button next, and then how much. If you do it in that order and you get that right, you're gold. You'll be able to achieve whatever results you want. You'll be able to do it very quickly, and you'll be able to do it long-term and sustainably, so you can keep those results. So hopefully this helps as far as knowing what buttons to push and what we should be doing with our health. We don't have to adhere to some diet, some craze, some fad, some shake program, some crazy exercise program. It really is just about optimizing your health and pushing the right buttons at the right time.